champions that can utilize that, including Janna, Lulu, Kale.
Yeah. Don't talk about the Kale. I've had enough of you, LCS, for me.
You know it's coming in week 10 here for us in the LPL.
Yeah, maybe. No, actually.
Winter is coming.
I'm just saying, week 10 is pretty hype, all right? A lot of teams still matter when it comes to the points.
98% of it will be Raz, but
That's
then
true.
we'll get that final game.
There'll be one game.
Elise against SUFM. I mean, it's still left up a bunch of different junglers, so if they're banning Elise here, I fully expect them to ban a second jungler against SUFM, because it's just like, well, he's still got Lee Sin, he's still got Kane. And
Sejuani is a big thing for me. With that being said, the Jarvan being that first pick is a big focus. The Trundle's getting banned just because Jarvan is a flex pick between both jungle and top. We haven't seen the Jarvan jungle for SOFM. It is a major pick for Flandre. That's why you would think that it's going towards the top lane, but we haven't seen Snake for quite some time since last week. This is their first game of this week. Could mean that they've been practicing that just a little bit.
Snake now final ban. The last one was Scouts LeBlanc and a Renekton ban. So Snake throwing the mind games out there. It's like, no, honest, the Jarvan's going top lane. Please don't pick Renekton.
Yep, don't want to go up against your Renekton. Not when I'm playing Jarvan. Yep, that's me. The Jarvan player.
Flandre, the Jarvan player. It's me. Alright, Rek'Sai, pretty standard. Means that will be Maokai locked into the top lane now.
I wonder what SOFM's going to pick here, because he is forced to pick up his jungler. I mean, that's all 5 picks needing to come out at a Snake. And they know now that that's a Maokai top lane, which should be a very free lane for Flandre. He could keep that Jarvan, because that's a good Jarvan lane.
Yep.
And we could see something flashy coming out of SOFM.
And Kane's still open, and I honestly just want to see another Kane game. Honestly, like, you take away Gragas from SOFM, it's like, well, let's go back to what was working. I didn't even think we saw a bad Kane game yet from SOFM.
And I think that's possible here because he does have winning lanes in both the bottom lane and the top lane. Now, Kane works. The Jarvan, I mean, the Rumble hover is interesting. We've seen a lot of Rumble bans not catered towards Snake, so this is a new pick for them.
It is, yeah. It should go to the top lane, though theoretically could be jungled here for SOFM, so I'm going to hold my breath because I'm sure that will be mixed up in a second.
Yeah, I wonder, just because they know it's going to be a Clear Love Rek'Sai, we don't know if that Clear Love Rek'Sai is going Warriors first or if he's going towards the Cinderhawk. Now, we assume it's going to be Cinderhawk, but the best thing about Rek'Sai is the fact that he can skirmish against the best of them. Now, going up against a Rumble jungle would be suicide for that Rumble player, especially since the Syndra is getting locked in, and you don't want that combination of the Rek'Sai Syndra running at you.
Well, we got ourselves the stock standard composition from EDG. So, not much to say on that one. It's a Cogmore comp. But Snake, however, we got another 18 seconds. They were hovering the Rumble over SOFM for a suspiciously long amount of time. So
that's true.
10 seconds left before they can lock in those swaps.
And the swap around's always the most important. Some teams just love to trip you up at the end of the finish line. And let's go! Okay, that's a Rumble top. All right, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. All right.
That's fine.
So that does make sense. Rumble's great into the Maokai, good shoving lane. But you should expect Jarvan to be going in the top side of the map a little bit more often. But this is a bit different coming out of Snake. Now, Snake has definitely been catering their top lane pick to be more skirmishy, team fighty. In the beginning of the split, oh, that's Remember the caster. That's awesome. That's incredible.
They doing a fusion dance, or?
Yeah, I think so.
They're
giving him a lot of hearts.
I love the pips for the commentators.
Yeah, they're great.
Honestly, I think that the fans have been stepping up their sign game recently, like in the last 2 weeks or so. Like, they are incredibly inventive.
And it's always, I feel like it's a lot of it's towards Remember. There was one that was towards PDD when he was there casting one day. That's the last one I remember. Yeah. But a lot of them, people just love Remember.
Did you catch the cool fan club the other day?
Ah, yeah, I did.
Yeah, literally the whole audience all holding up cool signs.
It was his birthday.
It was, but that means that the debuff hits him.
It was something he had to expect.
3 birthdays, 3 losses.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
just don't have a birthday in the LPL. This is your own fault for having a birthday.
Just don't make it obvious. Don't tell people it's your birthday until after the game. If you've lost the game, don't tell people. Continue to don't tell people. But if you've won the game, then go out loud.
Just adds to the stat.
It's my birthday, everybody.
Anywho, let's get into this one. It will be Snake and EDG. A lot of riding on this for Snake if they actually want to make it into playoffs, but it's a little bit unfortunate that they have to go up against EDG so late into their playoff instead, not run, but the lead up to said run.
Yes, and the reason why it really hurts is because EDG's gearing up for that playoff run. You see it in them. Every game feels important for them, even though it feels like they are locked into that first place position just because of how WE have been faring recently. To them, it's still a race for first place, and it's still a race to be consistent. So when you actually get into the playoffs, there is going to be a bit of a bye for you. You want to be able to come in there and start firing off. So EDG have been a very consistent, strong early game force. It's going to be interesting to see if Snake can handle that.
Yeah, I would, if I were a betting man, Raz, I would wager no. And I think a lot of people would, you know, look at this game, and regardless of what the question is, I'm sure we'll see that fan vote. And it would just go over to EDG because people would be like, yeah, I just assume that they're going to do everything better than Snake. Because while Snake have been getting better over the last couple of weeks, you know, they picked up wins here and there, and morale seems to be honestly high when you watch the players and you see management come on stage and you're like, heck yeah, you know, this team who seems like they were down in the dumps for like the longest time, you know, like week after week. It was just like, man, loss after loss, and it felt so bad. But, you know, it got to the point where they started to pick up those wins and just look better when they were getting those wins. You know, it wasn't just like ham-fisted, it wasn't just random.
Yeah.
You know, they set up those plays and it wasn't just like thrown over to them and they just happened to catch it, right?
Yeah, it's definitely been a long time coming for Snake. Because in the earlier point of the split, we've been giving them praises just a little bit, even though we saw those roster fiascos. Very interesting. That was in the spring split. But along the ride, we've seen stronger vision focus from them. We've seen lane priority or focus go towards the AD carry or towards the top laner or primarily towards SOFM. So we've seen them make the effort. This time they're actually getting the benefits, the rewards. Game wins, set wins. Now those points will matter. So even if they take a game in this set, if they lose the set but still take a game, they're going to still feel happy.
Yeah, it's still important, just because it's so tight down there right now for Snake and everyone else they're competing against. So,
and just take a look at that. That's another hit on their vision focus. The fact that Rumble, pushing out that top side of the map, had the time to use his trinket towards the Raptors camp just to catch out Clearlove. So, I mean, these teams know each other very well. You know, neighborhood battle, you might say. But this is just Snake recognizing their early game is still incredibly important, making use out of the Rumble pick.
Yep. And these guys as well, like they do play games with each other as well, outside of League of Legends. So
anyone who watches Clearlove stream, him and Zatai have like, let's just say a lot of friendship there. It's definitely Zatai teasing Clearlove here and there, time and time again, but they're definite friends.
Yeah, they know their tendencies, know how they play. Zatai caught out in this mid lane though, and Cleo's coming for him. Like, what did you say about me? What was that? I heard you on stream, Zatai. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for this first blood, but sidestep. Just kidding.
They're not friends after that one, ladies and gentlemen. That is, he's probably typing in chat right now. I'll chat the man. Don't do that to me again.
Get in there, Clearlove. Show him who's boss. Clearlove has been laying down the law though this last week. iBoy is there's like a bunch of damage from this.
Wait a minute.
What? Crystal backs away from this fight. iBoy, I would not have a Kog'Maw standing there and fighting underneath a full charge satchel.
Exactly. That is so much confidence to recognize that he can still take that trading. It was Crystal that was surprised that it was the Kog'Maw standing his ground. So let's see. Potions are going through, but actually it feels like that's better for iBoy. He came out with the Doran shield, so sustaining quite a bit off that. And he has the Janus shield to work with, so I think iBoy comes out of this ahead.
Yeah, he's basically just held his ground and put him in a much better situation now. So we'll see how much farm we can get out from this. There should be one minion wave that resolves, and that was a bunch of damage in the mid lane. So he should be maybe like a wave, 2 waves behind Crystal at this point in time. But for a Kog'Maw, you're scaling, you know? You just want to get that farm, get to that point in the game where you can be relevant.
That's true. Especially since there's a lot of pressure SOFM's exerting that side of the map. Now, thankfully, Clearlove had that successful gank, which I was surprised about with how much they're really pressuring in onto him. But if Kog'Maw is able to hold on really early on to the game, and if Rek'Sai is able to, as he is now, putting down the control wards, then he should be fine. He should be fine until he gets his items.
Clear's invading, though. There comes the ward. His red buff actually... Yeah, red buff is up, so we'll take this away. What was SOFM's pathing?
Definitely had a full topside blue clear.
Did SOFM take red?
I didn't see a red on him. That's interesting.
Yeah, no, there's no red on SOFM, so I have to assume that Clearly got 2. That being said, SOFM's level 5, so I guess he took red earlier?
Well, he took Raptors, so he's been invading on that top side jungle. It's just interesting to see that SOFM, of course, didn't take his own red buff on that one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the time from Clearly was an investment in the mid lane, but you'd expect from the kill as well he would have caught up. Like, he's now just dinged level 5, but he should be behind level 6 race.
That depends, because this SOFM, he was able to abuse that top side quite a bit with the Rumble pick. So I'd be incredibly surprised if Clearly was able to actually take those Krugs top side. In fact, Jarvan having the CS on himself, that does pertain to the fact that he's been able to take Krugs.
Yeah,
Krugs as well.
Krugs
so.
and Raptors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Clearly's got commands of the bottom side. Pretty much no camps on either side right now, so junglers probably will be looking for those ganks. Yeah, second wave of buffs now just spawning as well. How's bot lane doing? Well, still pretty much the same. So iBoy's holding on. Looks like he might actually close this gap just a little after this minion wave. Top lane has not been going well. We haven't looked at top lane yet, but Flandre has a significant advantage over that Maokai.
Yeah, so immediately just out of the gate, you get to see Snake's early game coming to fruition. As I say that, SOFM right on top of Scout.
Yep, gank in the mid lane, and Scout just didn't really have a chance. Didn't burn his... actually, had already burned both of the summons from the earlier play, so had no way out of the Cataclysm.
Yeah, beautiful from SOFM to catch that one. Was just in Fog of War, of course, behind the terrain, able to just EQ in, and just use the Cataclysm to get right on top of Syndra. So that was really well played from both SOFM and
It was, but you know, we saw this play happening for, I don't know, 2 minutes, because we literally had a conversation about SOFM's going to hit level 6 first, like we've seen this coming.
Yep.
For some reason, like I don't know what happened with the pathing, but he's ahead in farm and he's ahead in terms of levels, so level 6 before SOFM, Clearly won't be looking for the counter gank, so you got to be heads up about this, and Scout just wasn't cognizant of that fact.
That's true. And ultimately, with how long Syndra's been in the lane, she was looking for a good time to back. At that point, you want to bring in your Rek'Sai just so you can get the final shove off before you base. He definitely didn't expect, with how many wards that were in the bot side of the map, where Jarvan was. So that was a good heads-up play from SOFM to recognize where the wards were. He didn't need to traverse them to be able to get that gank off. And you're right, Scout did, well, now is humbled in the sense that he recognizes that is a gank opportunity.
I've also noticed in this game that not only Flandre right there, but Zatai has been helping SOFM a lot when it comes to farming his camps, especially those Raptors. I just watched Flandre help him out of those Raptors. Bottom lane, though, we'll take a look at this play. Scout's coming down, wants to reclaim a kill. Unleash Power's not just up yet, but he has both of those summoners. Booty flashes immediately, but he's pinned against the wall. That'll be their first kill. Over to Mako. Howling Gale coming out there.
That was a TP cancelled in from Flandre as well. I think that was a TP cancelled in from Mouse, so it was both of the teams wanting to double down on the play, but Snake was clearly at a disadvantage with how much damage Shoot he took. So ultimately, EDG comes out ahead.
They will, and they'll get damage on this tower as well. Someone does need to cover that mid lane. It will be in the form of cleared up. That being said,
God.
Scout has caught Crystal, hits him with the young R button, and then drops him where he stands. SOFM, not the way that you wanted to go into that lane.
At the very least, there was more to it than just the R button. It was also iBoy tuning into that comp, putting in the autos as well in his ulti. Just once the stun came down, felt like the world came down upon Crystal.
Well, an absolute disaster, because that should have just been the one kill. You know, no extra tower damage on that, but Crystal stays around, doesn't want them to take the tower, and Crystal dies for it as well. So EDG just pull ahead. And
this is the kind of EDG you have to be afraid of, because we were singing the praises of Snake throughout the entirety of the early game, in the sense that, yeah, sure, Clearlove got that ganking towards the mid lane, but not only did SOFM respond properly, but Crystal and Hoodie were doing so well in their own lane. And Flandre, he's still ahead of the matchup, 96 to 68 in terms of the CS. But what does that matter now that the rest of EDG are just spiraling out of control?
You know, sometimes it feels like we downplay a team when they are passively winning a game, and you're like, this is boring League of Legends, like nothing is really happening, but you got to do a lot around passively winning the game to actually win the game. Like we saw top lane, mid lane, and bottom lane, and jungle all ahead in terms of farm.
Yes.
Right? And they had a massive CS differential that turned into gold, put them ahead, means that the next fight item breakpoints all come earlier from Snake, and they can gradually win the game, and as we say, passively win the game. But EDG being able to exploit Snake because they weren't playing passively enough, or, you know, making the plays around it, setting up the vision, making sure that they were protected, means that EDG take the lead.
And that's one of those bits in communication that Snake are going to have to learn or get used to, especially with higher level of competition. Where SOFM was patching topside, was already on his wolf camp, didn't recognize if there was a possibility of Scout moving towards the bottom lane, a possibility of clear love, or any sense of a play happening on that side of the map. So Snake now recognized that. The worry is that it is too late for this game. Now, they're still close in terms of gold, and the lanes are still positive for Snake, but they're going to be a little bit more scared of this.
Yeah, you can actually just see in the gold totals that much of that gold has swung the other way now over to EDG, apart from Mouse, who has not been the recipient of pretty much anything. But he's just been chilling topside. He just needs to be Maokai at the end of the day. One item Maokai is going to be able to do his job. Yeah, Observer just showing us that the bot lane tower is very low, but that can be said for the bot lane tower of Snake as well.
Ooh.
Though it is SOFM looking to make the play into bot lane, and iBoy, he's not in a great situation. Great flash, great monsoon, gets EDG out of there.
Yeah, good amount of burst too, and this is a decent wave with the cannon. I wonder if they walk in with it, because that is a low tower. That being said, Snake, throughout the split, have had a bit of trouble in terms of tunneling for objectives without the rest of the team. So Crystal and Hoodie have to watch out. They need the rest of the team to tune in for this. Jarvan right now is on his red buff, so this would be a little bit too risky for Crystal to do this on his own.
A little bit awkward, but still the bottom lane gets out alive there from EDG, and they have very much been catching up in terms of farm.
And remember this, Crystal is actually behind in terms of itemizing because he has the boots, and before I even get to that point, SOFM found clear love.
He's going to be knocked up. He tries to do the same to SOFM. He'll flash that one.
Okay, he gets out clean. Now, he still lost a little bit of damage and flash, but iBoy is willing to get in on this. And that hits the earlier point I wanted to hit, is that iBoy has an itemization lead. He has his wits end. It's a very cheap purchase for him. He has it because he's going up against a lot of AP damage in the Rumble, in the Lulu, and of course Orianna. So for him to do this and have the AD being backed up by the Janna shield, he's at a great place to start trading up against Crystal, who has a little bit more of a heftier purchase. He has his BF sword, but he wants to be able to get Zeal into a Zeal item, IE. That costs a lot. But yeah, iBoy has a very cheap build for himself.
I actually checked this itemization from Hoodie as well. He didn't go for coin here, so he's not going for the Ardent Sensor Rush, as it were. With the Amton also being picked up, there's a good possibility he's just shooting towards the Frost Queen's claim, actually.
That's unfortunate, because you get a hint of that because getting into the game he did have Thunderlords rather than Windspeaker's Blessing. Crystal on the other hand.
He's going all in. He's actually not winning this 2 versus 2. That being said, Mako stepping up and SOFM turning into the play means EDG do have to back away.
At the very least, he gets the turret. And that's a lot of work to get that job done, but at least he had Jarvan to back him up if the rest of EDG were lying in wait. A good job from Snake. It was a little bit rough. It was a little bit touchy. But they still get the job done. Now they can move towards the next objective, be it the mid lane or the top lane.
Yeah, because EDG, they were standing there. They was like, we can totally fight this. I don't know why Crystal has just stepped up, because he doesn't win. I have barrier as well, says iBoy, but you know, the fact that SOFM was there means they secure the first tower of the game. Clearlove knocked up, but the real homie, Herald getting involved there.
Yeah, don't touch my man. Get out of here. I see you touching that ward.
Get off that ward.
Get out of here. I don't want to see your ass again. Of course, you know, had to censor that one.
Yeah,
he's an aggressive Herald.
Actually, like straight up a bouncer of the pit. It's like waiting for the VIP to arrive, Baron Nashor.
Yep.
It's like, don't you sully this ground.
Because before this season, people were just walking into that pit as if they owned it.
I know. Before 20 minutes, but they don't. Belongs to the Great Baron. Got a swap up here in the Australia lanes res.
So this is a good response from EDG because they recognize Snake are clearly going to be going top side. So they're just here to stop that from happening. They don't necessarily want to go for a trade. It might be within their interest because, of course, that bottom lane tower is low, but they want to meet them so they don't lose their towers. As long as EDG's towers are up and available, they can extend the game. Yeah,
just draw it out longer. First dragon of the game has been a mountain dragon, and it's 15 minutes in. we haven't seen anyone take it yet, so SOFM looks at the clock and is like, probably take this.
That's true, but EDG are in position to go for the Rift Herald. That being said, they don't know if this is being taken. They know that Flandre has not been in the lane for a little bit, because that could come to a suspicious point.
Yep.
They could be suspicious about it. But with it being cleared out, Clearlove not even in position.
Yep, now they know, but unfortunately it's 3 versus 2, so they might make a play towards it now, just knowing he's on the bottom side of the map, seeing Flandre return to his lane. But honestly, you don't know if Flandre is waiting in Fog of War, you don't know if he's just gone back to base, SOFN could be topside, like, without having a ward there, EDG just don't know.
Yeah, and Rift Herald just takes a lot of time to do. It may not do a lot of damage because you can dodge the damage, but it just takes a lot of time because it's pretty tanky. So with Jarvan immediately rotating, that being said, Scout.
Yeah, Shockwave being used, but Zatai is chasing him down as well. The Clockwork Wind-Up, but the heal in from Scout turns it around. The Unleashed Power, but there was no follow-up from Clearlove in that one, so it will just be a trade of summoners.
Yeah, Flandre tastes a bit of blood. He's walking over. Able to get much.
Yeah, though he is still pulling ahead of Mouse in terms of farm, has resulted in his Leandri's pickup.
And take a look at this out of EDG. They lose quite a bit because Scout did lose that trade and he did want to base, but they were still willing to take the fight because iBoy and Mako had rotated out of the top lane, and of course Maokai rotating out of the bottom lane. That could have very easily turned into a 5v5 or a 5v4 and 5v3 because Tristana was still top, and it took a little bit of time for Hoodie to walk towards the mid lane. So if you're going up against EDG, even if they've lost a trade, they're still there and willing to take the fight.
The reason I draw attention to the fact that, you know, Flandre is pulling ahead is because it's almost a 40 CS lead at this point in time, Raz, and that's pretty significant even for a Maokai Rumble matchup. Also, it's 17 minutes in, so he is well past following past the minute.
That's true.
As a Rumble, which is pretty rare because you see that from Orianas and mid laners all the time when they take the Raptors, but Flandre has actually just been farming exceptionally well.
You don't get to see a Rumble getting a positive matchup a lot of the times. You get to see a blind pick Rumble now and again. Maybe Rumble into Camille, but even in that one, Camille can rely on a jungler to come in and eventually take control of that matchup. Here, Rumble just outright beats Maokai. Historically, Maokai has done okay just because his ulti was a bit of an offensive power, did a lot of damage as well. But of course, having more CC and less damage means that the Rumble will just simply take over in a lot of cases.
Finally, Mouse does pick up his Spirit Visitor though, so that will go a long way to actually helping him just stay in lane and actually take some of this farm instead of just constantly being beaten back. How are we doing on the rest of the itemizations? Zatai, Scout, go from there, Morel and Nomicon. iBoy looking towards his first Z item as well. What do you expect in that one to be, Raz? You got like a 1 in 4 chance.
From iBoy, was it?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll say Renan's.
Renan's pretty safe, pretty safe.
That's a safe one.
However,
oh
Crystal,
my God.
that was a long knock-up, but iBoy almost just one popped him.
I feel like with the trades iBoy's been making, he might just go towards the Phantom Dancer. Now it's a Runan's, but I'm just saying, this guy's crazy.
Yeah, he might just do something else for single target damage at this point. Like, if he could just solo the AD carry. Mid lane looking to fall.
Ooh, not just yet. In fact, EDG are here, rotating towards it just to stop that mid lane tower from falling, so it should just be a 1-for-0 trade.
Should be, yeah. So EDG even up the tower totals and once again take the gold lead. But I'm really looking towards this Cogmore because usually you're like, all right, wait till like 30, 40 minutes and then Cogmore will kill the entire team. But he's just turned online already with the addition of Janapic and he's gone Wit's End as well. So iBoy very much hurting. Yeah, it's not even 20 minutes.
That's the scary thing about hyper carries nowadays, just that it's not really that late game feel. Really isn't. In fact, beforehand, we were talking about Kog'Maw being stellar with those 2 items, fairly cheap items, like Blade of the Rune King, Renan's Hurricane. Immediately, you have to be a little bit more afraid of Kog'Maw. Now, you get even cheaper items because they're not even going towards that hefty Blade of the Rune King purchase, and the Ardent Sensor meta just means that immediately you're just blasting people. So, Crystal can't even handle that, and he has an Ardent Sensor purchaser of his own.
Pretty insane. Flandre walking to the mid lane, but more likely to just go back into the bot lane here. Doesn't want to fall behind in terms of farm.
This is a nice look from Flandre. The fact that he's able to constantly rotate towards the mid lane. He's done that before, but the only difference here is the champion pool because he's been playing those teamfight champions of Maokai and Jarvan, but he can just flash engage in those instances. And on the Rumble, it's a little bit more difficult, so he hasn't had that opportunity.
Yeah, for now, we're just waiting for it to kind of hit a breaking point. So only had 4 kills in this game. Expecting it to be a little bit more bloody, but EDG haven't really needed to make too many big plays for themselves because they have iBoy at the end of the day and he could do this.
Exactly. So he just wants to stall out and play that time game. It's on Snake to actually make that move. And the focus is going to be mid lane because look at how low this turret is. But it also feels like a bait because EDG should be here to stop it, actually.
They're not.
There we go.
Yeah, Mouse was at base. He's actually sitting there with home guards, with his teleport. So they were thinking about a potential flank, but with Scout not being there, they didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, there we go. So finally Snake, not only do they bring the bulk of their force, but recognizing the back timing. Really well done from Snake.
Gives themselves a turret, but who else is left to defend in the mid lane? There's a recall from Hootie. SFM's chilling, but...
Worst thing about that recall is the fact that Clearlove saw it, so he can actually move towards this turret fairly easily and answer it, knowing that there are 2, maybe 3 members back at base.
Ultimately, that just was a 1-for-1 in terms of towers. Both mid lanes go down. And with Dragon being up in 20 seconds, perhaps Snake will be in a situation where they can stop that from happening. But iBoy flashes forwards aggressively, looking for the kill onto Zatai, flashes the wall, Flanger into the backlines. He's burning iBoy. But here comes the teleport from Mouse. Double stun out from Scout. Both of them will fall. Woo! Gigantic shockwave will drop Mako, but they didn't get any of the big targets they wanted. Yeah. 2 for 1.
At the very least, Zatai does respond, but iBoy is so godlike. He just walks up, gets the initial trade, recognizes that he has flash, and there's no CC there to stop him, so he just goes in.
They have their eyes set on a bigger prize right here, some bigger game in the form of Baron. Hootie, he's stepping up, and he's a very low health. Little Lulu with Zatai as well. SFM's the only healthy member here from Snake, and iBoy is just ripping him to shreds. Zatai stepping up. Cliv's at the back of the pit. I mean, he's at the back. Oh, face first into the ball. Now EDG are being routed. Mouse might be the sacrificial tree. Yes, he will be.
In fact,
no, just cut the tape.
Everybody, no, I don't want to see this.
I don't want to see it happen.
Shut the footage. I'm done.
Stop it.
We're done here. That was nasty.
Maokai gets out alive, never to be seen again.
Yeah, that's a good story.
And that's it, yeah. All right, so after that game, no, I think we just had some tech issues on stage, guys. And we'll try and get in as fast as possible. So we've got a couple players turning around to the rest. It's like, hello, what happened?
Hello, hello, hello. So that was definitely, it feels like this game's already going to a surprising start. The fact that Snake is, not playing a smarter game. Their early game feels a lot cleaner. And the fact that they can rotate towards, let's say, sure, they're losing out in these trades, but rotate and get these the vision down so that Baron, we're in a big winning position. Now we're going to be coming into the game very soon, so we get to see what point they start at.
Yeah, we are coming in hot, Raz. And where are we? So Baron has not been started yet.
Okay, so that's how far they go back.
Gone back in time, and EDG will not be starting this one. So this is actually pretty significant. This is at least a minute before we had the game stop.
All right, this is perfect. For EDG, that is. It's going to be, you would have to think it's fair for the most part, just so, sure, EDG, it doesn't look like they've gotten too far of a gold lead that it's too far off for Snake. So they didn't want to be in that position of losing Baron, losing the fight afterwards, or just EDG heading back to base and still being strong enough. So I want to see where we're at in terms of the map.
Of course, we have questions, guys, and so do you at home as well. I'm sure in interviews after the game, we'll actually be hearing from the players, like exactly what happened. But for now, we do know that League officials have said that both teams have agreed that this was the right time to go back to. However, looks like we'll get this knock up here right onto that Orianna. Will be the kill over to EDG. This could potentially open up that Baron play once again, but both teams look they want a brawl. Nature's Grass comes in. That's going to be locking at least one member of the team, but it's not going to be a second kill over to EDG.
That's just a kill on Orianna, but Flounder has to get out of there. He doesn't want to take too much damage because Baron is going to be the focus for EDG.
Yep, that will be the one, Raz. But that being said, Snake are still pushing out. You know, looking for a play in the mid lane, or at the very least, just make sure that he can corral EDG back away from that pit.
Yeah, that's the big focus for them. So having mid priority, having that push out means that it can be very easy for Snake to at least pull EDG away from the pit. It's not going to be contended, so that's very, now Zatai is going to be able to come back onto the map.
All right, so the dust is kind of settled now for a second, Raz, and a lot has changed, because that could have been a disastrous moment for EDG. But for now, both teams just playing a bit more tempered.
This is when we look towards the item set, how the vision's being played out. EDG has control of the pit now, being able to place the wards now that Snake have gone and done a full back. There's not too much being purchased on the side of Crystal. Snake, Crystal purchased up the Zeal, so he's going towards the double Zeal item pretty quickly.
Yes, indeed. Talking about iBoy's build as well here, has gone for the Runel's Hurricane. So you said that earlier, Raz, so you nailed the prediction.
It's a boring bet. It's a boring one because everyone goes Runans. They don't want to be that 80 carry that can't push up the wave fast enough to join their team.
Yeah.
You don't want that to happen.
Of course. He's got red buff as well, though, so iBoy is still going to hurt a lot, because you look at his item build and you're like, well, he's, 2.5 items. He's actually 3.5 items, because he got Ardent Sensor on top of that from Mako. So this is a pretty big Cogmore.
It's going to be a little bit ridiculous to take that from myself. Once he actually gets the Rage Blade as well, he's very close to it, just has the recipes. So I wouldn't be surprised if EDG just tries to have just to hold the map, not make a play happen, and stall Snake until he gets that item, because that's a very large spike.
I'll tell you what, iBoy, like, I've seen a lot of Cogmore recently from the LPL teams. Everyone has if you watch the LPL, but this is the first time where I watch a play and I'm like, as soon as I'm done casting today, I'm going to play some Cogmore. Like, when I watch him just make these plays, and as soon as I'll start playing, it was like, well, I'm not iBoy. That is what, I've discovered. But
I don't think your teams would be happy about that.
The way he plays it is so entertaining to watch.
A lot of it's just faith with his own team, too, so just hoping or knowing that the team will back him up every single time he walks up. Or at least having the mechanics, so even if his team does make the mistake, that he has his finger over the flash button. Unfortunately,
to go in.
Yeah, unfortunately it's on D. Just putting that out there.
Oh no! Yeah. Instantly dislike.
There we go. I was hyping him
Andre
up.
Getting caught out. Oh, good Zhonya's, but now he's kind of still caught out. Here comes the knock-up, flashing away, and the Wild Grove. So many resources used for Snake.
The fact that he's still alive is what's important here. So sure, he loses flash. That's ulti off of Hoodie, but they should still be here to contest for Baron. They don't want to pick a fight, but they just want to stop EDG from getting that purple worm.
There's the goal. That is the plan. And right now, EDG have actually stomped out the vision.
They're going for it.
They've actually started it again.
But they're seen on this, so Snake should have the ability to walk up.
Yeah, you think so. Snake are backing up into the mid lane, and they have successfully stopped EDG from taking this one. Flandre's into the bottom lane. He's got the TP, of course. It will force Mouse eventually to go down there.
And I think Kog'Maw has enough gold right now to get his Rage Blade. I wonder, he's going to be going up to Wolf Camp. That's what's important for him at the very least. That being said, Snake should recognize that. And so every base matters here. Doesn't matter which member, because Snake is a very aggressive team in how they want to be able to start a fight. So if you have your Kog'Maw back in base, you lose the fight if you're EDG. You can't afford to have that happen, or at least have the opponents recognize you're doing that.
I definitely feel like Kog'Maw should have enough gold, because it's pretty cheap once you have the components. I mean, he just need a blasting one as well, right? Yeah, so it would be about 1,600 gold.
Yeah, and just sell your Doran Shield. Okay, he just gets it. He's not going to sell that Doran Shield.
Figures much. It's like, well, 290 farm. It's like, you should probably be able to buy that.
Yeah. So at this point in time, EDG should just walk up. I think they're in a fantastic position. They won't have side wave control, because that's a Maokai needing to push up against a Rumble. But they should have enough focus, or at least confidence in their ability to take this team fight with the vision control that they've had for themselves.
I'm honestly just so scared for anyone who steps near iBoy at this point in time. SFM's gone for an Adaptive Helm, which I actually think is a very good choice here. I'm usually pretty hard on the old Adaptive Helm, but against this composition, probably pretty good.
It's also gotten buffs time and time again in both its HP, Magic Resist. It's gotten to a good enough point where it's fair to build it. And that being said, if you're EDG, you're going up against both Rumble, Orianna. You definitely want it on the Rek'Sai. And of course, SOFM purchasing it for himself because it's Scout. That being said, it's getting burned down, this Baron.
Of course it is. There's a Kog'Maw on that team, Raz. You know how fast that's going to fall, but this has been, was that? Ooh, teleport cancelled.
Yeah, he's very close by, so that TP even coming through is kind of a mistake. Get out of there!
Ah, he was trying to drag him over.
That would actually be really cool.
Yeah. Like, I was looking at Mouse and was like, you probably don't want to hit W, because I guess there's a reason why he's just standing here.
Yep.
But he did have flash, so it didn't really matter either way.
So somehow Snake were able to reverse the control here. Get some key control wards out. This is when I hope the items come back out so I can see how many control wards are in EDG's inventory. Because if Mako at the very least have used all of his, and if they're getting cleared out, that might need another basing from EDG, which would be pretty key, pretty crucial.
His Baron Dance is very extended, but you can understand why. This game, it has been 30 minutes on the game time, but significantly longer for the players that have been sat in these seats. But EDG have gone for the initiation, though it is a very slow one. Nietzsche's grasp.
Oh, if he gets out of this.
Oh, flash and knock up. That comes out there, drawing a line in the sand with that equalizer, and SRFM drops so quickly. Scout drops the ultimate on him. Flandre goes into the Zhonya's, and he's not long for this world. And that'll be 2 kills over to EDG.
I love the sound of Rumble. That sounds bad. The fact that he dies, and it just sounds so good. But EDG come out with a massive win. Janna ulti as well, so they're all topped up. Snake cannot contest for this. So regardless, EDG is going to be able to pick themselves up a Baron.
And that's real good for EDG. Not only were they ahead pretty much in combat stats, but now they can actually siege these structures, Raz, and should be able to gradually close out this game from here on out. However, consolation prize for Snake, they will get themselves a second Mountain Dragon. So if they ever pull ahead, if they ever win a team fight, you're going to be able to knock down multiple structures. Yeah,
so it's going to be all on EDG to be a lot more structured in how they do this. So here's the thing. If Snake had gotten out of this, they looked like they were in a good position. It was actually Jarvan that walked up just a little bit, took the CC, and so the rest of EDG can follow up. But if they were able to disengage with Maokai ulti down, and of course, the rest of, I would say, the engaging force, Snake could have actually re-engaged in a positive position. So it's a little bit of patience that was lost off of Snake. So they lost a lot of kills.
iBoy just did so much damage. Like, oh, absolutely absurd. And he's going for his Randuins right here as well. And honestly, doesn't need to double down with more combat stats because he already can kill everybody very quickly. So why not just become tanky?
I feel like I've seen this build before in a Kog'Maw in the past game. This has happened. This is just the thing now, the fact that Kog'Maws can actually go defensively towards a Randuin's Omen. The amount of damage that they have now. And it feels like a bit of a, what would I say? The mentality that Doinb has. If you're far ahead, you can actually go towards a more defensive stats because you're doing enough damage as is. So right now, EDG has gone so far ahead at this point that even iBoy is a tank. Because of course he has to get these shields time and time again. He has a lot of sustain within himself. Of course, the Wit's End increases those resistances, and yeah, he's in a good spot.
About consolidating resources for him at this point. Yeah, because triple item Kog'Maw at 32 minutes you consider fast, but he got it at like 28 minutes, so he's still in a fantastic position. For now, it will just be the slow push. No reason to play this too quickly if you're EDG. These minions actually very difficult for Snake to clear them away. Rumble doesn't do a lot apart from clear out the back line.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's actually Rek'Sai pushing into the mid lane. So they have the picking potential from Scout with the team and the investment in Maokai who can walk forward and allow them more space. So iBoy is in a very safe position knowing that if anything goes wrong, Maokai Janna gets him out of it. And of course they have a lot of opportunities if Scout can get a pick for themselves.
Yeah. Scout can blow up anyone who's coming near the team as well. Yeah, and mid lane Rek'Sai. Clearly just needs to be a warm body, honestly. Just guide in the minion wave and you're taking a member who's going to be way more important for Snake in the mid lane.
Exactly. Right now, Snake needs every member that they can get to push this off. And even when they do just that, you can see how much damage Flandre took in that instant. Snake are put in a position where, quite honestly, they need to hard engage. But even if they do just that, I don't think the Rumble ulti, no matter how well it's being placed, can actually outright do enough to push EDG off of this.
And boy, just quickly taking a quick rest from this push. They got another wave coming in. It should be one more wave looking from that Baron timer.
Yeah, but thankfully Snake can actually bring the full 5 members here. Because Rek'Sai is with the team, there's no other members pushing in the mid wave. So EDG are confident enough that they can try and dive off this push. Snake have to hold firm.
It's going to have to be this push though. There's not enough Baron for another one.
Here we go.
It's coming. Okay, Equalizer is just stalling time. Yeah, Mouse walks over, realizes the team can't follow up. Good defense. That was a really nice Equalizer from Flandre.
Yeah, there we go. So it needed to happen, especially since the last bit of Baron that you were going to be able to use for themselves. And the next wave, we're going to take some time off. Look at how large that top lane wave is too. So good job for Snake to hold that one firm.
That was just really smart and really well played as well, mechanically, from Snake. So they stay alive for another day. We're, 34 minutes into this game, and EDG have around 7,000 gold lead. During that, it looked like Snake picked up a third Mountain Dragon, unless that was just slow to update.
So ultimately, right now, EDG should just be confident enough with how low that turret is. Sure, it regens not fast enough, but they can just go back to it after they've pushed the mid lane wave. I think right now their plan should be push mid wave in and then rotate towards the tower. That being said, they have a whole slew of options because the Elder Dragon's coming up in 2 minutes. They can actually just take that. It was already easy enough for them to team fight before this Elder Dragon. Now they shouldn't even be batting an eye at the idea of looking to dive with Elder.
Yeah, EDG just have so many ways to win this game. And it honestly should just be the win here for EDG, as Snake will have to go back to the drawing board. But as soon as we saw those 2 picks locked in Champion Select Raz, we knew what we were in for, honestly, for EDG. Like, you get Maokai, Cockmore, and you just get the standard composition where you have a pressure mid lane, another tank line, and then, you know, a Janna or a Lulu or something that complements the Cockmore. Yep.
I know globally you don't get this much Kog'Maw, but in the LPL, especially with the tank meta being a thing, Kog'Maw, exactly. Maokai was already a major priority. You add in Kog'Maw to the mix, and it feels like you instantly get that late game insurance that your team fighting is already going to be superb. And so, of course, off that point, questions would be, well, how are your early game going to be? EDG would primarily put the Maokai into the jungle so they can have an early game presence in the top side of the map, but this time around, they've showcased that they can still just do that with having that Rek'Sai early. And it's good to see because ClearLove was actually able to get a lot of early pressure onto the map.
Still looking at those triple Mountain Dragons there, Raz. Like, if Snake somehow win a fight, and they do have the tool, they have a one-word combo comp at the end of the day, so like, if they do manage to just wipe EDG, take away Scout and iBoy, they could make a massive push.
They can. With how late the game is starting to get, 36 minutes, you can only believe that it's going to get longer with how this game's getting stalled out. One team fight win means a lot. So, for instance, ClearLove potentially getting caught out there, he can just get burned down. Doesn't matter how many resistances he has. Going up against the Tristana that gets a lot more range because of Draw the Bead. Orianna that's building up quite a bit of AP. Has a lot of shred, honestly. So, Tank's going to have a tough time dealing with her.
Yeah, very much the case. But it's just this Elder Dragon dance now, Raz. And of course, this is very, very important. Snake with those dragons, it would just amplify their combat power, means they can beat EDG. Then suddenly they're on the back foot for the next like 2.5 minutes.
That's true, but EDG have done a great thing. They've pushed onto this knowing that Orianna is going to be away from the rest of the team. If she joins the team soon, she'll be in a flanking position, which is not a good idea.
Mouse going for the initiate though, and the Nature's Grasp going to lock at everybody. Flandre buying some time, Redemption coming down, but the Kog'Maw is just unchecked, and with a re-engage once again. SUFM barely a tank in this one. Great shockwave, and onto ClearLove and iBoy. Oh, Rek'Sai goes flying, but the kill already comes out there from Scout. 2 kills for nothing.
You can see how clear the communications are for EDG. The moment they see Orianna in the bottom side of the map, completely far away from the rest of Snake, start on Baron, or Elder Dragon that is. Now they're going towards the Baron, but you can see that they recognize that Snake cannot take that fight, and it's going to take Zatai that much longer to rejoin the team. That extra time gave them the win in the fight.
Absolute disaster. Zatai will check
oh,
the pit.
No.
Doesn't know where they are. Not again. Okay, well, he'll regen a little bit of health, burrowing underground. And it seems like Mars should be able to tank the rest of this up. But if you want to survive ClearLove, I would recommend not being at the back of the pit. But there we go. We'll get to see that fight one more time, Raz.
A lot of people will be questioning, where's Orianna? She's going to be on the long trek. That's 500 miles she's going to be traveling. So immediately, they just get on top of the major carries. Crystal's going to have a really tough time with Maokai right on top of him. SOFM, just right jump on top of him, press R button, he's dead. So 2 members off the map before Orianna even steps onto the field. So you can see that Snake have to be cognizant of where they are on the map and when it's actually happening.
The Snake do have one more shot though, because the other dragon was not taken. However, EDG, you know, they're going to be pushing in top lane, bot lane, mid lane, classic 1-3-1. And that's going to force Snake into a position where they're going to be pushed inside of their base. Vision's going to be strangled out, and then EDG will look to try and take this other dragon. But it's still there. There's still, the miracle can happen.
Yeah, I don't even think EDG should take Elder Dragon. At this point, with how much they're strangling the map, that
Just finish.
Yeah, it's over. The fact that Elder Dragon should just be denied from Snake, there's no real possibility for them to actually reach it. So that's not going to be a focus for them. They're just going to be doing, I guess, kind of just getting them to the map, rotating towards these towers, specifically bottom lane. That's still fairly low.
It is. They should be able to knock it over. And it looks like Mouse has moved to the mid lane now instead of top lane. So Flanger at the very least gets to push this one out. He has the teleport to join the team, but it's not fast enough. We're losing that bot lane inhibitor turret.
Wonder where the line is going to be drawn if you're Snake.
Probably after this inhibitor. Perhaps mid lane, perhaps on a healthier tower.
Okay, actually Flandre is all the way up into the top lane. He cannot join the team, so this is giving EDG a lot more freedom to push up. I wonder if this is something that Snake wants to do.
It looked like the call was made because he did choose to stick around. Righteous Glory used SUFM going to be caught out. This guy does so much damage. He's dropped to half. EDG crack open another tower. Curve hops the wall. Playing it slow. iVoid takes the inhib. Second one now. Pacing back towards the dragon.
I don't know about, you're from London, England, I can only assume.
Yeah, because all people from the UK are from London.
Exactly.
Yep. Correct.
I don't know where you're from, but that trade where I'm from is awful. God awful. You don't want to lose 2 inhibs for 1 top lane in a turret.
Raz, I think that's universally awful. I don't think you have to be from planet Earth to realize that that is not a good trade.
Yeah, bad trade deal.
Absolutely horrific. EDG get themselves Elder Dragon, 2 inhibs, 2 inhib towers, and a rather large Baron power play.
Alright, so, I mean, EDG are going to have a lot to work with. Very easily their focus is going to shift towards the top lane inner turret because they don't have to deal with the bottom lane inhibitor. That's super minions crashing into both bottom lane and mid lane. Snake have to utilize at least 1 member. You'd have to believe it would be either Zatai or Flandre to deal with these super minions. That being said, I actually think that Snake are going to try to hold this off as much as possible before EDG even deal with this top lane inner tower.
Right now, EDG have all of the marbles, and Snake would just, they would like 1. They would like 1 marble.
No marbles here. They can't even take 1. Garage sale for free? Just kidding. Your brother, your big brother, just snapped it. I was about to say 2 words at the same time. Snatched it from you.
Snatched it and nabbed it.
There we go.
Correct.
Yep.
Smash and grab. EDG will take the top tower contested, of course. Where's that line, Raz? That's a fantastic question.
They just have to fight now.
Well, there is a line, and iBoy walked over it. And Hootie, has to use the ultimate on himself, and flashes away. Yeah, you don't know if Cogmore just happened to wander up and hit you with an auto attack from 7 billion miles away. Clear Love is getting chunked out by Crystal, buying a bit of time.
What hurts here is that Rumble ulti is down. And that the redemption from Mako healed him back up to full.
Get out of there, SFM.
Maokai's a big tree.
All right, Nature's Grass to buy time, zoning away. Tower cracked. What's Snake gonna do?
This is getting messy.
Oh, Flandre, maximum range caught out on that one. That's gonna feel real bad. And it stings because he had the flash as well.
No one's really dealing with that bottom lane super wave. So, Snake don't have their top laner. Feels like it's over from here.
Monsoon used by Mako, but iBoy, the fact he's got Guardian Angel right now, I don't think anyone can really approach him.
Goodbye.
Ultimate use then. See you later, Crystal. Welcome to League of Legends, where there is no counterplay against Syndra at this late into the game with this many items. iBoy, oh, he tastes blood. Jumping onto the spawn pad. Just get out of there. Go to the back. Like, just save your lives. Just save everything. Because iBoy, if you step up, he will actually just kill you on your spawn pad. Game 1, it was a long one, but it goes over to EDG.
Yeah, they finally get the job done.